Welcome back, gentlemen. In this particular segment of the tutorial, we're going to cover installing the needed files or applications and plugins that you're going to need for working with FSX, or FS in general. I have done a few things to make things a little easier for you. I have redone my icons, made them a little larger, and I have reinstalled my Photoshop suite completely. I'm going to go ahead and open up Photoshop and just show you something real quick. I'm going to press Control N for a new image here, and I'm going to go down to my width and height, and I'm going to set them to be square. And working with DDS files that you will be doing in a lot of your applications, FSX being one of them, you're going to have a need to have your files square. DDS files are square. They're either 512 by 512 all the way up to 4096 by 4096. You can't save a DDS file differently that I know of. It has to be square. So here I just filled my foreground color with Alt backspace. I'm going to flatten the image, and even though there's one layer, I am going to flatten the image. And I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say Save As. And we'll call it that. And I'm going to go into my Format option list. And you can see I don't have anything here for DDS files. Well, let's correct that right now. I'm going to close this and not save that. Open up your browser of choice. And do a search for DDS. We'll say Texture Tools, and right on the top here, I don't even have to hit enter, we have these legacy texture tools from NVIDIA. Now I don't know how this will affect ATI users. I don't think it will affect you at all. These files should work with anything. Let me know otherwise, please. Now there are a couple here that we want, one being the DDS Utilities, and we're going to click on it and save. And I'm going to just go to my desktop, create a new folder, and call it DDS, and open and save. And the other one we want here is DDS Thumbnail Viewer. I prefer this. You don't have to have this, but it is a good one to be able to see your DDS files as thumbnails, which is a major bonus. There is another option out there if you want to see your PSDs also as thumbnails. It's called Mystic Thumbs. Really great. I have the paid version of that, which is $25, I believe. And that's it from this page. Let's go ahead and go to this link here. Correction. Let's go ahead and do DDS plugin. And you see there was an option for CS5, so I don't know if this one makes any difference. It should not. I'm going to choose it. Now this one is very important. I mean, I can't even emphasize how important this is. You have to have this. In 99% of the questions that I first was asked in my written tutorial ended up being that they did not have this installed, even though it was clearly stated to install it. You're going to want to have your version of whatever Photoshop you're using. If you're using 64-bit Photoshop, you download the 64-bit version. This does not matter about your operating system. This is dependent on what version of Photoshop you have. CS3 is a 32-bit version. I'm going to download the 32-bit version. And while that's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and just show you real quick the Mystic Thumbs. And you can go to this page and you could check it out. You could see down at the bottom here there is a free trial, 30 days, and both 32-bit and 64-bit installer. That one you would want to do by your operating system. It's a really good thing to have. Some people won't want to have their PSDs shown up as thumbnails. If you browse using the Adobe browser within Photoshop, you can click on them, and in the bottom preview pane you will see them the way this will show you. So you don't really need this application, but figured I'd show it to you. Alright, now if you have your Photoshop installed in the one of the default directories, being it's going to want to install in Program Files 86 or Program Files, depending on your OS. You don't want to have it installed in either one of them. I don't install anything in either one of them. It's where it kind of, things can go wrong. If you do have it installed in there, don't uninstall and reinstall it. Just know that when you install these utilities, you're going to want to right click on them and choose Run as Administrator. And here we're just going to click Next, and you're going to want an organization in here. I'll just put Dantrix. And email option, if you have yes, you want to subscribe. I'm going to say no and get this done. Okay, through the power of video editing, I went ahead and jumped right to this. Now you can see here that my installation is going to take place in my Adobe, where I have Adobe set up. You might want to just double check this to make sure it's going to the right location. And install. And that's it. I'm going to uncheck that. I don't really want to see the PDF. You don't really need to, but feel free to go ahead. And these really don't matter in order to install them. I always just do plugins first, so I could be wrong, but I always do that one first. DDS Viewer, we'll go ahead and throw that one in, and I don't need to do it as administrator. And you're going to get the same thing here, accept. And here you're going to want to see right here, I can tell that it's going back to another folder, and I'm going to change that because it wants to install in the nanny folder. And by nanny folder, I mean Microsoft's folder, to where it's going to hinder all sorts of things. I'm going to kill that and choose that. It's going to install there, and there we go. And finish. And the same thing with the DDS Utilities. And once again, you're going to want to put in your organization or make something up. It doesn't matter. And once again, I can see here that it's going into the Program Files folder. I'm going to go ahead and kill that. And that's it. We are done. I would save a copy of this somewhere. Personally, I like to keep a backup drive and make sure that all my programs and utilities are, actually I have one just for FSX where I have the particular, all of my add-ons, and I will be able to find my Photoshop DDS Utilities here and any notes that I have. And this is important too. Don't count on a post being somewhere down the road. Make your own notes or copy and paste somebody else's notes. These basically just tell me how I'm going to set up the texture tools. Now, since I had this installed recently, it's probably going to remember my settings because of program data or my apps roaming, but let's take a look. Once again, I'm going to create a new texture or image, and it remembers my sizes. I'm going to click OK. And once again, I'm going to just fill it with something, Alt Backspace, my foreground color. I'm going to choose Flatten. And I'm going to now say Save As. And we'll just name it something stupid. And there it is. I choose that from the list, choose Save, and I'm going to get this. Now, this is very important. You're going to want to have DXT5, ARGB, 8BP, interpolated alpha selected, 2D textures, no bitmaps. Bitmaps are smaller versions of your paint. It increases your file size tremendously, and you just don't want it. Blurries, don't use them, and save. And that's it. So That's pretty much it. We have some more to cover on some basics on getting your Photoshop set up. If you do not have Photoshop and you're using other things like combinations of DXT BMP and Image Tool or PaintShop Pro, please post all the differences on the tutorial within Dantrix.net. It'll help others like you, and it will help me better explain things down the road. Alright, thanks a lot.